here's Brody Brazil.
You know, it's kind of a trip that I'm even making this video here in 2025 because it's largely history just repeating itself from 1995. Haven't you heard this story and this headline before that the Cleveland Browns are trying to move and the city is trying to prevent it? Now, back in 95, the Browns successfully did relocate to Baltimore. That's how they became the Ravens. But here in 2025, they only want to go about 15 miles away. The city of Cleveland is not having that move to the suburbs. They are up against this in a fight once again with the football team, but this time around, they actually have some leverage which might force this football team to stay. And that leverage comes from precisely the last time they did this and left. More on that in just a second, but first, a little backstory here on the Browns. Maybe you weren't even alive in 1995 or you don't understand their backstory. So let's get into that. They were established in 1944. Then in 95, their owner, Art Modell, up and left, took the team to Baltimore. They became the Ravens. 4 years later, after a lot of back and forth and conversation, the NFL awards the city of Cleveland with kind of a new football team, but really it's an expansion team with the same name, same logo, same colors. They're the Cleveland Browns once again, and the way they get their players is through the expansion draft, but they're not technically considered an expansion team. Nonetheless, Cleveland has their Browns back. They get a new stadium. All is right once again in Cleveland. The only problem is that since the 1999 respawn, the football team on the field has only had 4 total winning seasons. So that part has been a struggle. But here in 2024 and now 2025, the Browns have some new plans for a stadium, which is kind of crazy because their current one isn't that old yet, but it's got some obvious issues. Brook Park is where the team wants to move to, not just a stadium, but of course, a development surrounding it. It's about 15 miles southwest of downtown. It's right near the airport. And so it's not that far away. It's not out of state. It's not really leaving Cleveland, but it is leaving Cleveland city limits. The Browns say that renovation of the current stadium is not going to solve operational issues, and they say they need a dome to justify the magnitude of a public-private partnership for their new stadium. So no, they're not talking about putting a dome on their current stadium. They need something brand new entirely. And they're asking for like $1 billion for the new stadium. So they want to make sure they get it right and that they can host events year-round independent of what the weather looks like. And here's the plans. Huntington Bank Field, and it's an interesting-looking stadium, more of like an architectural, futuristic type of theme here than what most stadiums are looking like. A lot of sharp angles and an all-glass roof. Look, I don't know if structurally all of this is even possible, and it seems like it's missing some stuff there. That's a lot of seats and not a lot of luxury areas, but what do I know? It's a unique set of renderings, and if you're a Browns fan, maybe you're okay with this. Maybe you'd rather have the football team playing farther away from downtown. Maybe this is easier access, but the city of Cleveland is going to put up a fight against it. Again, more on that in just a second. Of course, the Browns have ambitions of using this building year-round, and for things like basketball games, you could put the soccer pitch out there, you could host some soccer matches, so a lot of different uses, but the biggest thing overall is, of course, it's not just a stadium. This is a land deal. This is a development. This could be lucrative if the team moves out here, builds their stadium, gets to control the area around it. Obviously, the investment multiplies big time over time. So the city of Cleveland is planning to block the Browns from actually leaving city limits. This according to Fox 8 Television, WJW in Cleveland. And they've done what seems to be the initial reporting on this, so I'll give them the credit. They say the city of Cleveland has decided to invoke the Modell LAW in an attempt to block the Cleveland Browns from leaving the stadium downtown and building a dome stadium in Brook Park. The Fox 8 I-team has learned. The Modell Law? What's that? Like, as in their owner, Art Modell? Yeah, so remember, he took the team and moved them in 95. Well, the Modell Law passed in 1996. It was enacted by the Ohio State Assembly. It was signed by the Ohio governor. It's the Ohio Revised Code, Section 9.67. What could this Modell Law say? Well, here it is. No owner of a professional sports team that uses a tax-supported facility for most of its home games and receives financial assistance from the state or a political subdivision thereof shall cease playing most of its home games at the facility and begin playing most of its home games elsewhere unless the owner either A, enters into an agreement with the political subdivision permitting the team to play most of its home games elsewhere, or B, gives the political subdivision in which the facility is located not less than 6 months advance notice of ownership's intention to cease playing most of its home games at the facility, and during the 6 months after such notice, gives the political subdivision or any individual or group of individuals who reside in the area the opportunity to purchase the team. Let me just summarize all of that. The team can't move unless the city says, yeah, we're fine, you can move, go ahead. Or if the team gives the city 6 months heads up, and then the city gets the chance to pursue ownership, maybe the city buying it or come up with some owners, or obviously they want individuals or a group of individuals who reside in the area to have the opportunity to purchase the team. Here's a letter from Mayor Justin Bibb to Browns owners, which was obviously captured by Fox 8 television. And Mayor Bibb here specifically referring to the opportunity of that 6-month window to go out and find different owners to buy the team, to keep the team in the city of Cleveland. And if that opportunity were provided, the city of Cleveland intends to take a leadership role in assembling an individual or group of individuals who reside in the area in purchasing the team, end quote. The letter also went on to say, if the Browns intend to begin the 6-month window during which the team must be offered for purchase, please identify 1, the date on which the team will be offered for purchase, and 2, a date and time at which we can send our representatives to begin inspection and evaluation of the Browns' records, like their financial records, end quote. Also, according to Fox 8 television, the letter is also asking for a response by the Browns by January 9th, or else the city says they'll take legal action. City officials have said that during the last 20 years that they have spent more than $350 million for the construction, repair, and maintenance of Huntington Bank Field. Wow. The Browns had this response. We received and are reviewing the correspondence from Mayor Bibb. As we stated months ago when we filed our lawsuit seeking clarity on the Modell Law, the statute and the city's actions create uncertainty and do not serve the interest of the greater Cleveland. As the city knows, after the 2028 season, we will have fulfilled our lease obligations at the current stadium. We are determined to create a project to solve our long-term stadium planning by building a new enclosed Huntington Bank Field and adjacent mixed-use development, resulting in a substantial increase in premier large-scale events and economic activity for our region that will generate significant revenue for the city, county, and state. We intend to respond directly in due course to Mayor Bibb's letter and have no further comment at this time. All right. We understand the situation. Here are some of my takeaways. Now, the team mentioned the lease, which is up in after 2028, in 2028. Bottom line is the lease is only for the venue. And actually, the Modell Law kind of does trap the team into not having much leverage in any venue that they were supposed to stay in, because the Modell Law is for the city. Right? So the lease is only for, hey, this team at this stadium, here's what we pay, here's our rent. But it's really going to be hard for the team to escape this Modell Law. I mean, they did this in 96 to prevent this from ever happening again. Now, I realize it's different. This is not a team moving out of the region. They're staying in the greater Cleveland area. So it's not the same story totally, but the city of Cleveland, they obviously want something different out of this. So I just want to separate, though. The team can say, hey, our lease is up, that's fine. But then the city can pull out the Modell Law and say, well, yeah, but you got to stay in the city limits. That new stadium, $2.4 billion, it's going to be split. The cost, the Browns want that cost to be split with taxpayers. So once again, they're trying to leave. And it'd be one thing if they said, hey, we're paying for this, we're paying for our new venue, and this is all going to be no problem. Here we go again. It's the ask by the team for probably about $1 billion for this stadium and for the complex. In my opinion, the dome is more necessary than the land development. Like, if you're trying to get one of the two things here, like the Browns want the land development to go along with their new stadium. And yeah, dome doesn't hurt, because a dome means you can play football year round. You can put basketball games in there. You can play a soccer match year round. You can use that for concerts and events any time of year. Whereas currently, the Browns stadium at this point, yeah, you're probably not going to host too many concerts in January right next to the lake, just like that with the weather and everything else. So in my opinion, however the Browns can get a dome stadium, that's probably more imperative than anything else if they really want to gain some leverage, make some money. But quite honestly, there's a lot of outdoor NFL stadiums. So do they absolutely need this as a team? No. They're trying to capitalize more on the ability to use that venue. And last but not least here, look, this is a very sensitive topic for Cleveland sports fans. They've already gone through this. Now, in this case, it's moving 15 minutes down the road, and if the region gets a new stadium out of it, maybe some fans are like, fine, I don't even care because this is not the same thing as it was before. So is this the city being really shallow? Is this the city saying, wait a second, we helped you build this stadium less than 30 years ago, and you already need a new one? Which, again, goes in line with the trend of what we've seen a lot here in North America in the last decade or so. Teams getting to a stadium in the 25, 30-year mark, and, well, that's it. They say it's expired. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of what everybody else has, so they need either a lot more money to fix it up, or in this case, they want to vacate that stadium. What do you do with that stadium once the Browns are done with it? What value does that serve? Is the land even worth anything right there on the lake? I don't know. But the point is like, it's not that old. It probably should have had a dome on it to begin with. And you know what? In the cost and value proposition of maybe just putting a dome on this place, maybe that's the best thing to do. Maybe that's how this ends, but the Browns don't even want to go down that road because they've got the land development idea instead of trying to fix up this place. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Also, while you're down there, give me a thumbs up if you would. That greatly helps me and this video and this channel. And one last thing, if you're not subscribing already, go down there and do that real quick right now. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.